Let's attach the beard. We've sewn our nose on, and what we're going to do is we're going to flip up our brim. First, make sure you like if you like one side of your hat or body more than the other side, definitely make sure that's the side you're putting the beard on. And then we're going to center it. I'm going to use the center of the mushroom and this triangle to center my nose. You can see that I've got things short enough that I'm not covering up the little color work here like spices sprinkled around the edge of a plate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one color, one strand of yarn, use that to attach the beard all the way across, and then we're just going to get rid of the ends. We don't need to worry about which color we use because the brim is going to cover this edge and it's not that important. If you have a strong preference, obviously I encourage you to do that. I would always choose personally the one that I think will cause the least visual interest. So in this case, we've got so much going on, I don't know that it matters, but I might lean towards the white if your hat color, if that's the one that you've used doubled, might be the way to go, but I'm going to use this nice mushroomy color here. Making sure again that I've got things centered. Need to make sure that I am not stretching things too much. I am going to, right at the edge of where my beard would go, I'm going to grab 2 strands of the V that makes up that stockinette stitch right here at the edge of our beard. And I always attach the corners double intensely. So if I am not doing a toy, I will do this twice. If I was doing a toy, I might do it 4 times. I go through the same spot under the body fabric and then through the beard. Again, I'm going to go in a little deeper into I guess I'm going to call that a mustache, the firm edge of the beard, and go in there. And again, we need to just make sure that we are not getting in the way of our loops or our other strands of yarn. Then I'm going to travel over one bump, go down through the beard. You could also use the bumps themselves. I'm going to go between the bumps today. I always like to experiment and see if I have a strong preference afterwards and regrets. And then I know for next time, oh no, always use the top of the bump, not between the bumps or something like that. All right, so we got that. And again, I'm making sure my loops aren't getting caught. Then I'm going to come up one over. And as I go, I'm just pulling snugly to make sure that the top of the beard is really firmly attached. We don't want gapping. So now I'm going to go down under a V of the fabric. Here with the nose, it gets a little interesting, but just make sure you're skimming and only getting bits of the beard and not bits of the nose. Making sure we've got no loops of beard yarn interested in the procedure. Move over, grab from here. You can instantly kind of pivot and go and grab from the beard and make it sort of one motion. And moving across. All right, let's stop because we're about halfway. And let's see if we were to push the brim down. Are we liking what we see? Yep, things are still centered. Beard's still looking pretty amazing. Everything is pretty happy. Yep, so far so good. Always nice to stop and pause when you're doing things that add so much personality to a stuffy, and just sort of stop and ask yourself, hey, am I rushing things? Do I need to stop and make sure things are centered? Or are we all cool? Are we good? Because it's so much easier to re-sew before you do any knots. All right, let's grab that. The other side here, I'm going to do double strength again, as I talked about how at the corners I like them to be double firm, so I will go through the corner twice. And you might be asking yourself, what am I going to do with all these ends that are still left from the cast on and the bind off of the beard? Well, we're just going to hide them in the body. So let me tie this knot. And when I do this with the with the corner of the beard, I'm always making sure to pull it up and anchor it down as snugly up to here as possible so that we don't get sort of gaping between the brim, the beard, and the body. We want to kind of hide that and really maintain that idea that there are eyes that just can't be seen. All right, so I'm gonna tie a knot underneath here. If it's a decoration, you don't need to do a knot. If it's a toy, I would definitely do a knot. So I'm just gonna go through the beard if it lets me. There we go. Make a loop. Once I have a loop, I just go through it twice. Once, twice, and then I pull on it as I'm gently nudging it along with my fingernail or thumbnail to get it as close up to that as possible. And I'm going to plunge it into the body of the gnome, push it across to the other side, pull it, and I'm going to pull it taut so that it can snip close to the fabric and it'll disappear inside the body. And we're gonna do the exact same things with these. We're just gonna plunge them down and get rid of them. If you want to put all three on the same needle in one go and just make them vanish, you can do that. If you get the heebie-jeebies at the thought of this and want to knot things, obviously I'm fine with that. I don't want you to have heebie-jeebies. I want you to feel confident and happy. But we've already strengthened and sewn on that gnome really nicely. All right, so these are from the cast on side where I have already used one of the strands. I just have two here. Plunge them through. Doesn't matter where I come up because it's going to disappear into the gnome anyways. Come up to the hat. Pull taut, snip, and here we go. We have our super fun, full of personality gnome that I hope brings you joy and makes you feel better at color work maybe than you did before, and that brings you a smile every time you look. Happy knitting, happy gnoming, and thank you for joining me in this gnome.